On this episode of That Kingsville Podcast, special guest Ben Balkwill, head coach of the Leamington Lasers, joins us on the podcast to talk about his career in swimming in the local community, local sports, all that and more on this episode of That Kingsville Podcast.
See, there's always a little voice in there from Kevin, and I just sit here and I wait and I think, okay, what's he gonna do now?
It's my Foley artist.
Yeah, thanks. Foley. You're part of that union too. That Kingsville Podcast, still proudly brought to you by Kingsville Brewery. Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. The snowbrush has been retired. The patio furniture has emerged from hibernation, and the Kingsville Brewery Beer Garden is officially open again. Woo! I was there on Saturday. That's right, the beer garden is back, which means cold beer, warm evenings, and at least one person insisting the weather is perfect while wearing shorts 3 weeks too early. No, it's not anymore. Summer got here.
It's pretty warm out.
Sorry. Grab a light A lager, a refreshing Hefeweizen, or a bold hazy IPA and settle in for one of the best views in town. Because, let's be honest, everything tastes better outdoors, especially when someone else is cutting your grass. Whether you're catching up with friends, enjoying a date night, or just escaping that never-ending home improvement project, the Kingsville Brewery Beer Garden is ready for you. Open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., Sunday till 8 p.m. So Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, head on down to Park Street in Kingsville.
Oh, it's perfect. Breakfast beer.
11 a.m.?
Yeah.
Get it started. Check out kingsvillebrewery.com for current beer garden, hours, events, and their full lineup of craft beer, free delivery in Kingsville and Essex County. Kingsville Brewery, because after a long Ontario winter, we've all earned that patio beer. Thank you, Kingsville Brewery, for supporting That Kingsville Podcast.
Good Irish fella. Patio beer. Anyway.
Can't help it. You can keep that in the
Good old patio beer.
Welcome to That Kingsville Podcast. It's me, Dave, Kev, and Steve. Special guest Ben Balkwill joins us on the show today. I don't know why I'm just I'm puking out the words today. Ben, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. When we were talking about people in the community, as we've had in former episodes that have done some things, and we had Ray Dean in talking at Skate Kingsville and a few other people around town. Steve's like, yeah, we got to ask Ben to see if we can come in because, Ben, you're very heavily involved with the Leamington Lasers swim team. So thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So you are head coach of the Leamington Lasers.
I am.
How long you been swimming?
I was a member back in '86. And yeah, I've been with the team for a really, really, really long time. I was a swimmer for many, many years, transitioned into coach. And then when my head coach, Pat McLaughlin, retired, she passed the team on to me, and I've been doing it ever since.
And so the head coaching officially for how many years?
I don't know. I've stopped counting.
Enough years.
Yes.
Steve, you know this. About how long?
Well, has he been since my kids started 10 years ago, 12 years, and so I don't know how many years prior to that.
So at least a good solid decade.
Yes.
Well over, yeah.
So that takes a lot of commitment. That's pride of passion, right? Like you enjoy swimming. So tell us about what's happening with the Lasers today and how the organization is functioning.
Since I started, it's always been growing, and it's always continued to grow in terms of what we do with the water we have. We've constantly seen better swimmers show up, and it's not necessarily that the older swimmers weren't great. It's just that flea in the jar analogy. Once someone achieves a goal, everyone's like, oh, I can do that too. And that's one of the best parts about the team. Once someone else sees someone else do something, like, I want to do that too. And so we've constantly been growing and constantly been going places. I've taken swimmers all across the eastern side of the country to all levels of little novice meets to national level meets.
It's quite some accomplishments for being just a local swim team.
It is.
So we're going back in '86, right? little Ben starting to swim, like Big Ben, like the clock in England, right?
I've heard that.
This is swimming again. Like I've got Nick.
It's just funny how whenever we refer to ourselves or our friends as kids, it's always like, oh, little Dave, little Ben, little Kevin. It's just
can't help his name, right? So when you're in the pool, if you can recall back then, intimidating, right? You don't know what to do. You don't know any of the strokes. You don't know what to do, but there was something. There was something that kind of really got you involved in the water. Was it the athleticism, or was it just like what they actually do?
I think a lot of swimmers are drawn to it because it's a team sport, but it's also solitary. Mm-hmm. Because when your face is in the water, you don't have to talk to anyone. And there's a meditative part to it because you're just alone with your thoughts for lengths on end. Yeah. But then those moments where you're at the end of the lanes talking and joking and laughing, those are the parts that you remember. And those are the parts that I remember. I am in a place now where a lot of the adults that I swam, a lot of the kids that I swam with now have their kids on the team. And so we get to have those conversations and like reminisce about the dumb things that we did in the pool. And
we'll get to those later.
You've been coaching for a long time. What's the difference between a good swimmer and a great swimmer?
Patience. It takes a long time for a swimmer to get comfortable and get a good, what we call a feel for the water. When we have older kids join, it's really frustrating for them because they see kids who are quite younger than them but have swam much longer than them excel. And it's that part, getting comfortable. It's not even comfort. It's just the feel for the water and how to use the water efficiently to move your body forward.
There's whether you're looking at other sports, whether it's hockey or baseball or lacrosse or football, a lot of times you can hide a lack of skill with extra athleticism. And I would think swimming's one of those where, sure, it's important to be athletic, obviously, but if you aren't crisp in your technique, then you're gonna have a tough time.
Yeah, the density of water just multiplies every mistake that you make. You're either really efficient in the water or it's dragging you down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally.
I sink. Yeah, I don't know how to swim. I don't have a clue how to swim. I float and I bob.
You don't know how to swim?
I don't know how to swim. No, I grew up
You should work on that. If you live next to a lake.
Wait, okay, and I can read how many times
he has a pool in his backyard.
Right, also that too. Like I got it. I don't think I really need it. I'm not joining the lasers at any point in time.
All right, okay.
Sorry, Mom.
Which
Jeez.
actually, that's an interesting point. Has there ever been considered having an adult lasers team or a masters or seniors or anything?
We would love to have one. There has been a lot of talk about it. We just hosted the Canadian National Masters in Windsor 2 weeks ago, and I had a few swimmers come back who are older, and they said, "Can we have a lasers team?" And we just don't have the pool time. Mm-hmm. The pool in Leamington is packed all the time. We would love to have more time, but we just don't have it.
Yeah, it's a resource that Leamington's had for 30 plus years, right?
Maybe they should build a pool in Kingsville.
Kevin?
Oh, no.
40
Kevin,
years.
stop.
Yeah. No,
cut him off.
No, he knows. Listen, he's poking the bear.
I know. And the bears react.
I would love a pool in Kingsville.
Yeah. And 99% of the other people are like, well, we got the tax burden.
I know it's a taboo topic, but you brought me in.
We'll just get a bus to Essex.
He does listen, so he knows what we think of it.
Now, getting back to it. So, part of the development of individuals and whatnot, like, how do you bring people onto the team? What's the process when you do have somebody coming on board that maybe hasn't been competitively swimming?
A lot of the time we get referrals from swimming instructors. We have a lot of practice time during swimming lessons, and so people see it. But right now, honestly, our team's almost at capacity. We're 70, 75 strong.
Wow.
And would love to have more. We just don't have the space. So we're in a really nice position where we can say, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Biggest team you've had since you've been head coach?
Yes.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yes.
Like to state that. And that's why I asked and led with the question about, how the program's going and how you're facilitating the community, because it's nice to hear that, it's not floundering and we're just existing because it's always been. No, there's growth. But along with that, you're also an official for, Canada Swimming. So you've got a title. It's complex. So what exactly?
So we have 5 levels of officiating in Canada. I'm the 5th, which is right there at the top. Some people call us master level officials. I think that moniker's older.
More experience. You're able to officiate more with more scrutiny.
Yeah.
So, being able to translate that, are you able to kind of build that skill set within your team? And because you understand, hey, this is how the sport really is criticized.
Yeah, I do. Sometimes when I'm talking to swimmers, I'll put my officiating hat on and say, this is what we're looking at. So make sure you're really obvious about this so we see it. Because when you're officiating and you're looking down at what kids are doing, there's lots of splashing going on. So sometimes you really have to make things obvious for officials, and sometimes you can make things less obvious for officials.
Yeah, because I'm going to go ahead and say I'm an expert because I watch the Olympics.
There you go.
And, with all of my experience in officiating random swimmers throughout, all of the Olympics that I've watched since 88 that I can remember. No, 88 was winter. 86 would be...
88 was also summer.
That's right.
Yeah, they used to be
92 was after 92.
Was
They started
was it
switching.
Atlanta,
88 was
Calgary?
Seoul, right?
Was it Seoul? Anyway.
92 was Barcelona.
Regardless, that's when I started my
No,
officiating.
they didn't do a winter in 92. 92 was Barcelona. 94 they went winter, and then it alternated. Anyways,
In the Lillehammer.
Getting back around to it, so that's the experience that I have with competitive swimming. And aside from not being able to swim and being afraid of the water and whatnot, do you find that when there's an Olympic year that there's more of
There's always an Olympic bump.
Yeah.
Always. And I think a lot of the sports that aren't your mainstream sports, they experience that Olympic bump because you don't see swimming when you turn on the television. You do every 4 years.
Yeah. And it is something that can be approachable to anyone. Like you said, it's a solitary team sport. But if you are able to move and manipulate the water and have the physical ability to perform the stroke, you can compete.
Yeah, and it's I know a lot of sports say this, but it's truly a sport that you do for life. Masters, we had athletes 18 years old. We had athletes who are 96 years old. And this one 96-year-old, she would get up on the starting blocks and she would do her version of diving into the water. She let mostly gravity do the work for that one. But she would dive in and swim her race. And it was amazing to watch that. It's a life sport.
Yeah, it's generationally acceptable, right? Like, yeah. So you said you've traveled and you've taken the team places, and I'm sure you've competed in many different regions. Anything highlight from one of your own personal experiences when you were competing?
No, I was never super competitive. It's just a passion that I had. Yeah. But I've taken kids to Montreal and to Quebec, and just watching them walk into facilities that we don't have and see swimmers who are faster and better, and seeing them, I could do that, and watching them eventually do it. It's special.
Like you said, with the Olympic bump, the experience and the exposure, I'm sure, is what anyone who's not been able to compete or see or scrutinize, it just opens up the opportunities.
Obviously, you've coached a lot of people, and it is a very technical sport. Do you get some swimmers where you just know very early on this kid's got it? And likewise, kids who maybe you think they're never quite going to get it, and all of a sudden it just clicks, and their results just take off from there.
Yeah. There's in every sport, there's always that kid that just gets it. And I've had a few of those, and they've been fun to watch. And those kids who just get it, sometimes I pass them off to other teams because we don't have the facilities. We don't have the time. And I gladly watch them graduate from our team and go elsewhere. And then, we have kids who just struggle. But the longer they're with it and the more relaxed they get in the water, and the more they realize if they listen, they get it. There's this breakthrough moment or across the season, and I have them this year. It's like, wow, they're really, really just getting it this season.
And I think that's an important point too, that there's some humility there, and that you allow them to graduate. You recognize the fact that if they're going to reach their potential, sometimes they do have to go to another team. Obviously, I'm familiar with some of the top swimmers now, but who are some of the best you've either swam with or coached or worked with over the years?
So Zach Monmany, I watched him grow up. I think he joined the team when he was 7. He graduated from our team because he graduated high school, went off to Brock. I got to take him to Montreal and to Quebec City. A swimmer I was just reunited with, Vlad. He just phenomenal. I wish he was around with Zach because they would have just been so great to practice together. And I actually got to watch him compete at Masters. He came back and proudly wore a Lasers cap again. And he was the same little kid that I saw on the blocks, only now a 28-year-old man.
Yeah.
But like that same stroke, the same smile, he came up to me after his races. And yeah, those are two people who just shine. Watching athletes graduate the program. We just had our regional championship this weekend, and Cassia Marachi, she swam her last race. And I was sitting there at the side of the pool. She got out of the pool, and she was just sad because she knew her time with our team was done. But I tell the kids the doors are always open. There's always space in a lane for you.
Your involvement, again, in not just swimming, but you have a greater reach, organizing OFSA and elementary sports. And you get to see such a wide range of people, capabilities, and talent.
Mm-hmm.
Projecting the understanding of how you can watch someone go from just those elementary steps to the end. Is there that kind of loss of the ability to continue more? Do you seek it in other people to fill that gap, or like do you start to focus on, hey, how do we build back? How do we grow other people and fill those? Yeah,
I think that's something that I'm learning. How do we continue to grow? How do we keep the momentum going? And as an official and someone who puts on a lot of meets in the area, I'm starting to get that viewpoint about how do we continue to grow the sport in this area and in this region. We have a really great team in Windsor that puts these meets on. And we realize that we really, really like to hang out together on the weekends. And we just did 3 meets in a row. And we just laugh and giggle and have fun. And our goal next year is to make the meets bigger and better and more fun and more competitive.
You're enabling the sport to thrive,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So switching gears slightly to OFSA,
mm-hmm.
right? So now we've got OFSA being competitive in the format of education centric. So you're co-managing next March's OFSA. So where's that going to be with regards to your priorities, and how does that fit into the Ben Balkwill schedule of things? Because it sounds like you're really committed so far.
Yeah. So I took on OFSA. I started wearing my OFSA hat probably 10 years ago. It was before COVID.
Okay.
And the first one I did, I had no idea how big it was. And I had gone to OFSA and I saw, but being on the other side of the pool and seeing how big it was and everything that was involved, it's enormous. Mm-hmm. There was one day that we had a lull in the meet, and I was like, I want to find a bigger meet out there. And I'm pretty confident to say that OFSA is the second biggest swim meet in the world.
Oh, jeez.
That's how big our province is.
Yeah.
I don't think we give that enough credit all the time. We're as big as a lot of countries.
Yeah.
And OFSA brings in 2,000 athletes and officials and volunteers and coaches and teachers. And the first year we hosted it in Windsor, we sold out every single hotel room from Windsor up to Chatham.
You'd have to.
Yeah.
That's incredible, because you're the faceless people that facilitate that event. Mm-hmm. And so many people, when they get to attend, I don't know, did you guys ever make OFSA?
No.
Steve?
As a coach, yes.
As a coach?
Never as a player.
I didn't. I made it to it was called WESPY at the time, right? But not for swimming, but even that was an event to because of just the community. And I can only imagine, Timmins, people from North Bay and Wawa. Mm-hmm. Was there anybody from Omimi?
At the swimming?
No, just you were aware OFSA existed in Omimi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We came really close. We just missed out on OFSA for rugby. Rugby is our big thing up there. Yeah. Well, it's not swimming, though.
You got to get out of the valley somehow.
That's right.
Just fight your way out.
Fight your way out.
Fight your way out.
Well, you asked, and I was at an OFSA with 20 soccer teams, and I know soccer teams have, a few more athletes per team than most, teams do. But having seen pictures of the swimming, and my daughter swam there as part of a relay team, and I'm I'm not even going near it.
It's insane.
Honey, send me the video because, and Tam talked about it, just the wall to wall people, the insanity, but not in a bad way.
No.
It's almost like you're part of a party without the food and drink.
Yeah, it's electric.
Right?
Yeah, swimmers are just easy to work with. Mm-hmm. Swimmers, they're good rule followers because you write a setup and they just follow the rules and they follow the set. And there's a lot of introverts in swimming. So it's just, it's electric. It really is. The pool deck's crowded. There's people everywhere. And it's incredible when you only have 10 people in the pool and 800 people cheering for those 10 people. Yeah. That building gets loud.
Yeah, like you said, it's an independent team sport. So, you're right. It's self-regulated because everyone wants to perform. You've made it to the top event of your sport, and this is the final stage.
Yeah.
At OFSA, having been there and helping to run the event for so long, is there a race that you remember? And not one of your locals, but you saw this, and maybe it's a name we know, but you saw this race, and you're that's special.
Yeah. So we've had quite a few Olympians come through, and I announce at OFSA, and so I've gotten to say quite a few Olympians' names. It's like Javier Acevedo. I just remember his races because he would jump in the pool, and it's light years beyond anything anyone else was doing in the pool. Mm-hmm. And there's people like that I just remember their swims.
I'm glad he brought up the announcing because, and this is where Ben is an excellent official. But even the most recent meet that I was at and warm ups, and he gets on the microphone, warm ups, and as Ben you can do it if you want, but warm ups are now closed, and there's a girl gets up on the blocks. Do not dive into the pool. And then she gets right on the edge. Do not. And at that moment, she knew. And I think everyone in the building knew. And I was almost egging her on, thinking, please, just jump in. Because I'd love to see what happens next.
Water's warm.
But before we get into the more serious, because we obviously want to talk about the recent WESPY, but obviously your son Isaiah is swimming now.
Yes, yeah.
When he first hit the water, I remember him a few years ago, and I see him now, and my gosh, puberty hits, and these kids are growing up. That's a different side to obviously you. This is the parent side now, and a side that has nothing to do with officiating, nothing to do with coaching. But what's that like?
So I get to wear the parent hat now, and it's great. It's so fun just to watch him succeed and doubt himself and then prove himself wrong. It's
gut-wrenching.
Yeah, but also just
different emotion.
It's okay to be frustrated. And I don't coach him. He gets out of the water, I give him a hug, I say great job, and I say go talk to your coach. Mm-hmm. And I never give him advice. I never give him reminders. It's always just a hug and go see your coach.
And one more question that you probably can't answer, but what's with the butterfly stroke? I had my kids try and teach me that. That is like a small form of torture.
It's a little bit of torture.
Well, it looks like you're aggravatingly trying to drown yourself, right? Like, yeah, I'm not even doing it right? I'm doing
that wasn't awful.
Hey,
maybe you just haven't figured it.
Maybe I
combined
can
with
swim.
the kicking motion, and I mean, obviously, we recently spoke about Izzy Dreger and her butterfly ability,
Yes.
but like it's obviously there are different strokes that are
different
harder.
folks.
Oh no!
There we go. We got one.
No.
That are more difficult, but are there strokes that are more difficult to teach? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, is the butterfly one? Because I mean, the breaststroke isn't easy.
Breaststroke is timing, and butterfly is strength. And
Okay.
sometimes you just don't get butterfly until you're strong enough to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Just throw your arms forward.
Yeah.
And hope for the best.
Yeah.
And again, going back to the Olympics as that exposure towards swimming, like Michael Phelps is. We were very fortunate to be alive when Michael Phelps was swimming, because it taught a lot of people just how, in my opinion, how difficult that is to master all of those forms of swimming at such a high level to be and win that reward for. Was he the most decorated?
Yeah. You think of that Sports Illustrated cover with just
So to understand how he did it and then translate it to something that you do, and to be able to see how you can develop towards that. Genetics probably has a lot to do.
Genetically gifted too.
Like he is a dolphin or shark or whatever, but
Part porpoise.
But those are the things. So like, what kind of decorations has the team had? Like, is there national reward that some of the your team has had in the past that you can celebrate?
Our team's never really reached that level. We're not that
type of team.
We're not that type of team, and we fully recognize that. And I don't think I'm interested in that. Those types of teams have full-time coaches, and I have a full-time job somewhere else. So
we all do it, and it's like I said, it's a pride of passion. Like you enjoy the sport so much that this is the what you're giving back in order to facilitate because of what you've gotten out of it.
There needs to be both.
Yeah,
absolutely. We have to serve all the communities.
Yeah.
And some teams are really good at making high performers. I feel that we're really good at introducing and building skills. And then when they're ready, we pass them on.
Before we go on, I do have a question, because I back when I was reporting, I covered a lot of the council meetings when the aquatic center was up for debate.
Right.
And there was a lot of contentious thoughts around whether or not that pool at the time should go forward. And I mean, there was a lot of arguments over, like, do they put the arena downtown? Is a pool the right thing to do? And I'm curious, after we're now, like, I think a decade, it got to be close.
Easily.
What has it changed for swimming now that we have a facility like that?
It's incredible. Our region, from London down, doesn't have a pool like that. So that's called a long course or a 50-meter pool. The closest one has always been London. And so to have a training facility like that has been a game changer for the teams in Windsor and even for us. It's been an economic driver for their downtown core. I don't think it gets a lot of credit, but I keep talking about Masters. We did a quick economic impact report, and we figured that having Masters there for 3 days brought in over $1.4 million just into that downtown core. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that side of facilities really gets highlighted. They just see, oh, it's a big pool and who swims? Well, lots of people swim.
Well, and I agree with you, because I feel like if you're not hockey, then a lot of people don't understand the amount of people that come out for sports. And if it's not the mainstream sport that, Joe Blow down the road knows someone that's playing there this weekend, then a lot of times it's thought, well, then it's not busy.
Yeah.
And it's important to have those types of facilities.
Yeah. And we host 5 huge multi-day events at the facility a year with a core group of volunteers. Like when I received the Nobby Knudsen Award, I was kind of like, I don't want to say embarrassed, but I was like overly humble about it, because it's never just me. I have a really solid team that we just rely on each other. We each have our own thing that we're really good at and we really like in doing, and we just allow each other to be good at what we're good at, and we put on really great events.
So the Nobby Knudsen, it's a WESPY.
It is
right?
a WESPY, yes.
A WESPY is the Windsor Essex Sports
Person of the Year.
Yeah. Which is that's high regard. That is some very rare air within our community, and the acknowledgement of what you've put in and the passion you put into the sport to receive that kind of recognition. What was that like?
I was floored. I had no idea that this existed. And once I sat down and listed the things that I did, I was proud. But then to receive the honor and be recognized for it, it was humbling. It was really, really humbling.
Have you ever looked at a list of the people who have won WESPYs? Because it's pretty wild.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went back. It's I know that person. I've heard of that person. I've heard of that person. Yeah. And now to realize that I'm on that list, it's wild.
Well, and it's like I said, recognition for the efforts and the passion that you've put into that sport, and to receive that kind of recognition has to just validate all the stress and all the times when it was inconvenient or when there was difficulty for facilitating meets, events, problems with the teammates, things like that. What was the hardest time for you to keep going? What was that like? Was it COVID?
COVID was incredibly hard because we were just done for 2 years. And getting the ball rolling again with meets under the COVID regulations was terribly difficult.
Swimming in a mask, not easy.
Well, and that's where you would swim we'd take the mask off, you'd put it in a little Tupperware container, swim, get out, put it back on your face, but it would be drenched with water. It was silly. But then getting the meets going again, we lost so many officials just through attrition. And so those first few years after COVID, it was all about building our officiating capacity back across the province because so many people just left the sport. But it's also been one of our biggest successes. We developed the 3 local teams in the area. We developed this series of meets, and there was a few reasons why we did it. We did it to get swimmers back in the pool and get our high performers some qualifying times in order to go to bigger and better meets. To give our younger swimmers who were in the pool for the first time and had never competed a chance to compete, and then to just start training officials again. And it was this year that we've realized, okay, we can switch gears because we've trained enough officials.
Mm-hmm. So the officiating end of things, right? That when you're a swimmer and you learn the technique, you learn that capability. What's the transition into officiating? How do you start? We touched on it about what to look for, but how do you foster that?
Most swim officials are swim parents.
You're doing it wrong, Tim. Steve, you'd be great.
Disqualified Kellen once.
I've disqualified Isaiah once.
Yep.
And it happens. It's part of the sport.
Yeah. No, but Ben's right. I mean, it's you look on the volunteer sheet, and they're all parents from different teams. It's very rare that swimmers go to the officiating side. You might get some who will time as they get older, but it's parents kind of, they're there anyway, and it's actually a little bit cooler standing and officiating than it is sitting up in the stands.
Well, you just get the water splash, and it just cools you.
Oh, the humidity in that place, like the stands, is.
I know. I did swim lessons for our daughters when they were babies in Leamington, and boy, she's thick in that. Thick in that
yes,
pool.
it is.
It is.
Yeah.
So as you continue on, was there a time though when was it COVID that was the hardest, or was there a time when you were like, you know what, I think it's enough for me?
COVID was hard, but it always comes back to that group that you officiate with and volunteer with and manage things with. And when it gets hard, you lean a little harder on your friends. And when you have to like drop some slack, they pick it up, and it's a give and take. And we're very honest with each other. It's like I need to stay married. I need to take this meet off, and they like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah. Well, there was actually one meet last year, where he wasn't there, and it was, you could just tell people were wondering what was going on and whatever. And I think I actually sent you a text to make sure you were okay, because it was it. But it's unusual. Like, when you go to these meets, you don't know everybody's name, but you know their voice or their face. And I don't know how many you've missed in the past.
Not many.
Yeah, I was going to say, but that was one, and it was unusual, especially when you're a laser parent or a laser swimmer. So
I assume you're going to continue as long as the desire continues on. But where do you want to see we're at a capacity that you're enjoying is manageable at maximum. But what's the future of the lasers look like to you?
Right now, I don't see it getting any bigger. I would love to have more kids on the team, but we don't have the facilities.
Sure.
And Leamington's not willing to give us any more time. There's Essex, but then I'm like driving all over the county, and managing one pool is tough. Managing two pools would be really, really tough. Yeah. And I have to like balance where I'm putting my time as well.
Yeah, you got a family, you've got priorities, you've got your own responsibilities as an adult.
Yeah.
So maybe the Masters might be something that, hey, because it can be self-managed to a certain extent.
And I would love to swim Masters. Like, I want to get back in the pool again. See? But it's like, who's going to coach it? Oh.
Steve. Steve. I don't know.
Steve's there.
You just said you watched enough Olympics. You can be Coach Ben.
Splash around, guys. I got nothing. Go that way.
Just throw your arms forward.
Yeah,
that's right. Your butterfly was excellent.
I'm just saying.
Make sure you touch the wall with two hands.
Is it two? I thought it was your head. I don't know. I'm just feeties.
Feeties are fine.
I got nothing.
And for parents who are listening, I know you said the team's full, but if they do have kids that might be interested in swimming competitively, are there other options around anywhere that they could look to
reach out to us first, and we'll point you in the right direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have other things that you're like, if not, like I got a list here, and I know we've been going through it and down it. Like, I should have had this item up a little bit above, but you organize track events for elementary students in the community as well too.
We do. Yeah.
Where? When?
It's off the side of my desk and in the evenings. So I teach for the Greater Essex County Public Board and
.ca.
.ca. I know.
Publicboard.ca.
.ca.
I knew someone was going to throw it.
And our track program is great. We host 10 track meets throughout the spring that start at little local, like their school track and field meets that I'm sure that we all remember back in the day.
I got my 8th place ribbon. I don't care.
Sitting on the hill and watching them track at the bottom of the hill.
Those days are gone, Ben.
The sunburns and everything else.
I know.
We're talking KPS for all those people that
Captain.
don't. This is not like.
We had a hill. Had a view.
There's a track at the bottom.
Yeah, we only had one.
We had to run up
the
the hill.
school.
Yeah.
And then they go to a regional meet, and there's 8 of those, and it's just a lot of administration. And like one of the things that I'm good at is administrating stuff.
I'm gathering that from this list of accomplishments.
And it's a skill set that I have, and I am more than happy to use the skill set to provide opportunities for kids to compete and achieve.
Well, and to your point, like track and organizing that is something every kid experiences. Every kid runs, right? Like, that has the ability to runs, right? Yeah. And understanding, hey, here's different sport outside of baseball, soccer, right? These are physical, again, individual accomplishments necessarily that you can do if given the opportunity to experience.
Absolutely. Like I was at a track meet today, and it was the small school track for our board, and there was 500 kids there. So 500 kids out of school just avoiding rain and running and jumping and racing. It's fun.
That was a tough day to run, though.
Oh.
Yeah, thick.
Yeah, it's hot.
It was, It was brutal.
Tomorrow
And
will
then
be wild.
I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah. There's a heat index warning for all those. This is like completely in the moment in, June of 2026. When you watch this 10 years in the future, you're like, what the heck happened back then? No, we had crazy weather, but
Crippling humidity.
crippling, thick. So for these track events, like those are the building blocks for those students that kind of go through life as becoming physical runners and athletes in that fashion. Some schools aren't prioritizing some of that kind of physical interaction because we don't have the facilities. Like our new school here in Kingsville doesn't have a track. How, and again, I know you're a board employee. I know you can only comment about certain things, but how do you accommodate students that you want to be able to provide things like that? How, is there...
You get really, really creative. So I teach out at Malden, and we don't have a track. There's no track around us, so you just get creative. You turn it into math projects about how we're going to build a track on our playground, and you have the kids figure it out, and they do it. They get to measure things. You turn everything into a learning moment. The kids who like to dig holes, you give them a shovel and say, turn that pit over. And
it's a triple jump now.
That's right. And that's what we do. And you get creative. This year I had my kindergartners counting ribbons for me, made piles of 10 and counted by tens. And so you turn it into part of the fabric of your day. And
well, and you're fostering the environment where that's becoming important to certain individuals as they get that experience.
Yeah.
To eventually, hopefully, continue the growth of those sports so that when we do have facilities that are built in communities, that those are accommodated because they're needed, because they're important.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the misunderstanding about appropriation of facilities and cost and funding, and it's difficult to navigate that. But if we all together are in agreement that, because of these individuals that are encouraging this in our community, there is a population growth that will find value in it and that can enable it to be a vital part of our community.
Yeah, I've been having this conversation with my husband about what is there to do? Where is this for our community? And we have the capacity of volunteers. It's proven. We have the capacity for the demand of different types of sport. And I think back to when the Shirk was built. It's not called the Shirk anymore, whatever they change the name every few years. Yeah. Nature Fresh. And I remember that it was built and our grandparents were okay with it being built and they got to enjoy it in their retirement. And I think now that I have retirement conversations with people, it's what is there for me to do in my retirement? Because that pool down the road is getting old. Mm-hmm. And I've had a conversation about the lifetime of the pool, what's the
usable lifetime.
Yeah, the usable lifetime of that pool. And what's going to be here for us?
To that point, it does get more difficult for our generation because not only the cost, but all of the other ancillary things that come with it, right? Yeah. Our society's changed to the extent where those type of investments get scrutinized to the nth degree because of so many other needs.
Not in every town. I do feel like that's town specific.
I'm talking because of our tax base, right? You're right. In smaller communities, Leamington has a larger tax base. Leamington can allocate some of that towards facilities. Town of Kingsville is in that growth stage where we don't have the resources. Essex, for the school to be able to have that, it's amazing.
That was a partnership that I don't think will ever happen again.
Correct. So, back to my statement about people growing up with these, as I find this value, I enjoy this. We'll have to be creative in order to fundraise or creatively determine avenues that aren't taking away from those needed assets or those needed infrastructure things to make sure that it's a part of our community. It's tough.
It is. It is. And we don't have enough tracks in our area. We don't. We don't have enough pools in our area. We don't have enough tennis courts in our area. All those sports facilities would be great just to foster that active lifestyle as we get older.
It takes leadership like yours, though, to be able to. Well, no.
Yes, I get it. I get it.
Well,
Again, it takes-
you'd like try and say, it's an election year, Ben, if you need something else to do.
No, thank you.
Again, he said he wanted to stay married. Right? Like, I get it. You're pretty thin on where you're available. No, and it's individuals within a community. Again, Ray Dean with Skate Kingsville and other individuals that are Kingsville Baseball Association, and soccer, and KTA, right? Like, you've all got your pillars of those communities. Yours just happens to be swimming and in track through the elementary system. Like, but without that, there isn't the conversation. There isn't the understanding that there is more needed. There isn't that understanding that, hey, there's alternative methods in order to kind of reintroduce things like that into the community. What would you say would be that first kind of movement back towards, like retrofitting a public park with something? Like throwing a real big
I was
hard
going to
ball
say,
at
this is taking a turn.
No,
Yeah.
but like, again, you said we don't have enough tracks.
Right.
That's a fair statement. The difficulty is where do we put a track? It's usually educational facilities.
It is, and it would be great if we could put one there, and we know what that conversation was like.
Yes.
Right?
Well,
Controversial.
Just as a quick aside, I'm driving home from work yesterday, and there's a gym class, and they're doing their whatever running tests on the path along Jasperson.
Not the paved pass at Lakeside Park.
You guys are really okay.
I haven't heard.
Councillor Neufeld will appreciate that comment.
I wonder
because he gets his digs in.
I wonder if they rent the path from the town. Is there a liability
guys.
agreement? Is there a liability
Of course,
agreement in
this
place?
is- you don't just remain silent. Kevin's taking a detour.
Yeah, well, and do
Well,
not
I don't know
comment on-
because it's not like the facilities for them to run at the school have been provided.
Well,
so.
and so here's and do not comment on this at all. But I would argue that you wouldn't pay to put a facility like that at a school anymore because you can't rely on the school board in its present state to be a good partner to be able to have that and then ensure access for the community outside of school hours.
Yeah,
if you have it on public property, then at least the town is better able to control the access of that facility.
Very much so.
Right.
Again, also a much greater pool of funding in order to facilitate the
Right.
community with that. But, keeping in mind, again, most of the tracks are at educational facilities just because of where it's been in our community. We don't have I'm sure in London or Toronto or London, Toronto, bigger cities, they have recreation complexes for the public that feature tracks.
yeah, and then it's interesting that you mentioned that most tracks are at educational facilities. I can really only think of one that doesn't have a track locally.
Is it a new one?
Yeah,
It's a new one.
yeah,
It doesn't have a track?
yeah. There aren't many that don't have tracks, or some like.
I thought they were ripping tracks out of a lot of the schools.
Well, I mean, last I heard, Bell Rivers was sorry, man. We invite you on. We're gonna. Last I heard, Bell Rivers was not usable, but
Sandwiches was ripped out.
no
right?
sandwiches.
that's
Sandwiches
still
where
there?
they
Premier
go.
facility.
I
Yeah.
thought there was
Yeah.
one of those that was supposed to get. Maybe
That
it
might-
was Bell River. I'm
but
thinking of.
Essex has Leamington, Cardinal Carter.
Kingsville High didn't have a track either, right? But
No.
we had facilities and enough space in the back that we would run the lap of the backyard, and I call it the backyard the fields, right? But again, we would always go to Leamington or Essex or wherever, and that's where the competitions would be. So, I know it's a very loaded question. It's very difficult to answer, but by doing what you're doing at the elementary level and making sure that these facilities and these competitions and organizations keep happening, keep growing, gives me some faith and confidence that it's not going to die.
No, it won't.
Because it's adored and loved by so many different people of all ages.
Yeah.
Right? It's non-generational, and it doesn't have to just be kids. Like you said, in swimming, it's 93 years old or 46 like me. Maybe I'm going to start swimming tomorrow. It's crazy. I'll learn. But, yeah, like Ben, for somebody to have so many different opportunities to do things, and you choosing these paths says something, again, to your testament and your passion about your involvement in the community and for these organizations and these sports. So
was a well-deserved WESPY.
It was a well-deserved WESPY. And again, you taking the time to come here on the show and discuss some of your accomplishments and the communities that you're involved in, I think it's great. And hopefully some of our audience will get intrigued and say, yeah, you know what? I used to swim, but I came from Cambridge right? And yeah, it would be great to have a master's program. Maybe it'll facilitate or foster something where maybe you can participate in it and kind of relive some of your, the passions that you enjoy about it, but for your own personal gain too. So we got some local municipal election updates. Gary, can you hit the sounder? The Town of Kingsville municipal election update. So professional, I mean.
It's classy.
There's no updates as of this week. Zero. No new candidates from last episode. So go to the kingsville.ca website, click on the municipal election tab. That's where you can find all the information. Again, the election is this upcoming October. If you want to be a candidate for any of the positions of electoral municipal government, please go to the website, read all the rules, follow.
Click apply now.
Apply now. It's like a job, but it's worse. Because you get scrutinized by the public all the time.
That could be a campaign slogan. It's like a job, but it's worse. That was awesome. That is a soundbite right there.
Oh boy, oh boy.
While we're on the topic of the town, kudos to the nice
doing
segue.
the transition now.
There we go.
Hey.
No, but kudos to the town. Some nice beautification efforts along King Street. They took out the couple of the beds that I had complained a couple of times about. They paved them. They put nice new planters in. Looks nice. So well done, Town of Kingsville.
Be great to feature at the block parties that are upcoming this year because that's right in the same area.
Yes. And then just some news out of Coyote Nation. There was 3 athletes that took part in offset track this past week, and I hope I get all their names. But Julia McInnes, Carter Rafoul, and Vienna Cherize all competed. So kudos to them. They also had their arts night last Friday.
Yep.
Dancers, band, soloists, fantastic performance. Well done to those students.
Well done to everyone.
And their athletic awards will actually have happened by the time this is released, but that's also taking place this week. And I'm going to shout out to my players, Adam Clausen, Aiden Severino, and Cale Pikowski, who took part in the Wexa Senior Boys All-Star Game. And I can do that because I have the mic.
Hey, it's our show.
Well, how about my daughter's fast pitch team?
Oh, I'm not going nepotism on this. I'm going.
They won the U13 Selects fast pitch tournament in Forest Glade.
Oh, geez.
Well done.
Okay. Won 5 games in a row. They outscored
all in one day, right? This was
all
your Sunday?
in one day.
Yeah.
It was my Sunday. They outscored their opponent 67-24 over 5 games.
Nice.
Dominated. And it's the first time that they've won the championship at that tournament. It's always a tough one for them. So
Congratulations, ladies. I got nothing.
That's like 13 runs a game to less.
Yeah.
I remember
Fewer.
what you said, 5. It's like winning like 13-5 every game. Good for them.
That's very quick math on Steve.
Great job.
I can't do that.
That's fantastic.
I like maths.
Boy, oh boy. Incredible.
Cool. All right, that's all I got.
Good. So, thank you very much for coming on the show,
Thank you
Ben.
for having me.
Again, like and subscribe to That Kingsville Podcast. And again, thanks, Ben, for joining us. And we'll see you next time.
We're not the news.